guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Theodora and today is a sketchbook tour video. I finally finished my 10th sketchbook, so let me show it to you. Also, instead of having a very long video, I decided to divide the sketchbook tour into two parts, so this is part 1 and next week I will upload part 2. Okay, so I haven't decorated the cover, but I did write that it's my 10th sketchbook on its spine so that I can just easily recognize it whenever I organize it somewhere. In case you guys are wondering, this is the 8.3 by 8.3 inch Ohuhu marker pad. It is 200 GSM and it is also a square sketchbook. Okay, now let's start. So I started this sketchbook on November the 28th of 2022 and finished it on October the 12th of 2023. So it just basically took me about 10 months to finish it. So this is the welcoming page. I drew this the second the sketchbook arrived. And moving on to the next sketchbook spread, those are mostly just very random sketches, nothing in particular. You will definitely see that coming in the rest of those pages in my sketchbook. There are just so many random sketches. Speaking of random sketches, this is one of those pages that I was talking about, but I actually really like the standing pose of this girl. I think it turned out pretty good. I didn't have a reference for it, so yeah. So I was actually doing a lighting study as I'm showing you, and the original drawing is made by Sam Does Arts, and I tried to learn how the lighting affects the skin, the hair, and everything like that. And the rest of the sketches are my Christmas OCs. So the drawing on the left is actually part of a Draw This in Your Style contest. This was for a contest on Pinterest, and I actually really like the way the background turned out. And I also like the fact that the scene is kind of cozy and Christmassy. Next to that, you can see some sketches that have been covered by this Wednesday Addams fan art that I made on the next page. So I basically decided to make fan art for Wednesday Addams because I really loved the outfit she wore in the series, and I thought they looked really cool and they inspired me. On the page on the right, I've drawn my Christmas themed characters again, but now you can clearly see them. So this girl, who doesn't actually have a name yet, she is dressed as a gingerbread cookie. All those 3 Christmas themed characters are pretty old. They're from my 4th sketchbook. This is Grace, and now let me show you the original design of her from 3 years ago. And this is the original design of her. This was made 3 years ago on my 4th sketchbook, so my style has changed quite a bit since then. Now this sketchbook spread is filled with many random drawings, and that is because I was trying to cure my art block, so I tried to draw many random things. The drawing on the right, I actually really love it. It's definitely one of my favorites, and that's because of the background, even though if you closely look at it, it doesn't make much sense. But still, I like the way it turned out. By the way, this girl doesn't have a name yet. She is an OC, so if you have any name suggestions, please leave them down below in the comments. Next up, we've got another character sheet. This is my OC Lily. She is 15 years old and I really love her color palette, I love her outfit, and it's mainly inspired by the kawaii and softy aesthetic. Moving on to the next spread, on the page on the left, I've made some notes because I was trying to write down things. I had some ideas for a story that never happened, but yeah, on the right, I've actually made a comic book page. It's called School Disaster, and it's basically about 2 friends who are on their way to school, and one of them, Sophie, tells her friend Rose, asks her if she basically studied for today's math test. She obviously didn't. She is panicking on the inside, and of course in the end she lies about it and she's like, yeah, of course, and I did, don't worry about it. It was so much fun making this. Honestly, if I had the inspiration to continue this specific story, I would. But I didn't. Maybe I will in the future, I guess. So those are just girl sketches. I didn't really know what to draw, but her name is Violet, this girl's name is Violet, and she is an OC. I haven't actually made a fully colored piece of her, but I really want to in the future, so note to self, make a color drawing of her. So next up is a Stranger Things inspired page. I made some fan art for the show because it is my absolute favorite series in the world. I'm so obsessed with it. I've actually made a lot of fan art for Stranger Things on the sketchbook. So on the right, I've drawn 11, even though it doesn't really look like her, but that's fine, I guess. Anyways, on the left, I've drawn Max from season 2, which honestly, I don't really love the way it turned out because it doesn't look like her at all. And I've also made a small sketch of Max from season 4. And the next page features more Stranger Things fan art. On the top, you'll see Max from season 4. This is my absolute favorite scene of the season. And on the bottom of the page is a scene from season 3. I really like that scene too. Actually, now that I'm looking back at those drawings, I really want to color the scene from season 3. Anyways, now let's move on to the next page. This is more character designing, as you can see. Her name is Heather. She is another one of those elf OCs that I've got. And it's also another one of those drawings where I want to make a fully colored piece of her so that you guys can see her color palette and everything that I thought of. Next is another one of those spreads in which I just drew very random things because I was just trying to cure art block. To be fair though, I really like the way the drawing on the left turned out because of the pose. I didn't have a reference for it. This is my OC Willow. I redrew her in my current style again because she is another one of those old OCs of mine. And from the sketchbook spread, I also really love the way the profile sketch turned out. And here we've got some elf sketches, some girl sketches. On the top of the right page is some Stranger Things fan art. And on the bottom of that page is a drawing that I actually went over it with a purple pen, and I really love the way it turned out. I was actually planning on going over this drawing with gouache or acrylic paint, but it never really happened, so I just went over it with a purple pen, and I really love the way it turned out. So here I was trying to come up with another original character, and I came up with this girl whose name is Mary Ann. She was also featured in a short video, so maybe you've seen her before. And the next sketchbook spread is filled with random sketches, pen sketches, and just randomness and chaos in general. Oh, speaking of chaos, this is a pretty chaotic and messy page, very sketchy. So let me just explain very quickly what's going on. The drawing that I'm pointing at is more fan art for Stranger Things. This is Erica Sinclair. I drew her in one of her outfits in season 3. Anyways, so this character is another one of my elf characters. Again, I want to make a colored piece of this character because I really love her color palette. She is a strawberry themed elf. I am definitely going to make another one of those colored drawings featuring her so that you can basically see her. So this next sketchbook spread, I really love it. It's definitely one of my favorites, mainly because of the color palette and because of this realistic painting that I made on the right of the page. But anyway, the rest of the spread features a girl drawing and some random sketches to fill the space. The girl drawing that's colored is my OC Olivia. More random sketches. I didn't really know what to draw. Now moving on to this page, I was actually trying to make another one of those comic book pages. I didn't really love the way this one turned out, and that's why I didn't really go into detail about it to add the shadows and highlights and all that kind of stuff, so I kind of left it there. But to be fair, I actually really loved the way the drawing on the right page turned out. The princess girl, she is one of my OCs. So next up is a sketchbook spread filled with studies. On the left, I've made some head sketches because I was studying heads and perspective, all about that basically. And on the right page of the spread, I made some expression studies and sketches, which you can't really tell because they've been covered by the alcohol marker that bled through this page. This is April, one of my OCs. You guys actually voted for her name, because I actually posted about her and asked you to give me some name suggestions. Anyways, so what I was trying to do in those drawings, I was actually kind of trying to experiment with my line art. I was trying to basically tried to compare how my drawing would look with and without the line art. So on the top of the page you'll see a drawing without the line art, and on the bottom a drawing with the line art. And to be very honest with you, I kind of like the one with the black line art a bit better. On the right you'll see some sketches of my OC Laura. Okay, so next up, on the left page of this spread, I've drawn strawberry shortcake in my art style. Now that I'm looking back at those drawings, I realized that this drawing looks like more of a teenage version of strawberry shortcake, which honestly, I'm not mad at it. I don't know, let me know what you guys think of it in the comments down below. The rest of those sketches on this spread are pretty random once again. The drawing I'm pointing at is actually a redrawn version of one of my oldest drawings from my third sketchbook, and I actually was planning on posting this as a drawing my old OCs video, but I actually lost the footage of it and that's why it never happened. Next up is a retro aesthetic sketchbook spread. And my idea was to basically come up with a character that is dressed in 80s clothes. So this is the girl that I came up with. I really like her design actually. I was definitely inspired by all the outfits from season 4 of Stranger Things. Now this is Vivian. She is one of my OCs. She was featured in another shorts video. And this page is filled with many random pen sketches and pencil sketches. Okay, so now it gets pretty interesting because this is a drawing I made using an art challenge. So what I basically did was I picked out a random marker from my collection and tried to come up with a character inspired by the name of the marker. The one that I picked out was this sky blue marker. This is the swatch on the top left corner. And the way that I decided to incorporate the sky blue theme on this character was by adding different patterns to her clothes. So for example, her bandana has a cloud pattern, and she's got a pocket with a sun design, which is not really visible because I haven't colored this in yet. It's more of a work in progress. I don't know if I will ever finish this. The girl's name is Maya, and I really want to change her name because I already have another OC named Maya. But anyway, she's got this cute little cat, an orange cat named Mango. And as you guys can see, I drew Mango in my art style and then in a semi-realistic art style. I also found a sticker in my collection of a cat, which looked suspiciously similar to Mango, so I decided to stick it on the page. Moving on. Apart from those sketches on the left side, on the right page of the spread, I really love the way the drawing turned out. And to be honest with you, generally I love drawings that take up most of the space in a page. I think they look really cool. But anyway, I really love the way the background turned out. It is supposed to be a girl sitting in a garden, surrounded by flowers and nature. I love all the vibrant colors. Okay, so this next page is pretty boring, if you want my opinion. I didn't know what to draw. I mean, you can basically tell my mood the moment I drew it. I was obviously bored. Didn't know what to draw at the time, so I made a very random girl sketch. And also wrote that I was obviously bored. Fun fact, when I made this, I thought that the bold lettering on the background looked pretty cool, but to be honest, now I just don't see it. So this is definitely one of my least favorite pages on this sketchbook because it's very blank. As you guys can see, I made some doodles on the left page. So the next sketchbook spread is pretty chaotic, but to be honest with you, I really like the messiness of pen sketches. Also, I really like the way the checkerboard backgrounds turned out. And I also made some handmade stickers as I'm showing you here. The Pantone stickers are handmade, and I didn't use the parchment paper and tape method. I used a different method using only 2 materials. So if you want to know how I made them, let me know in the comments. Those are a bunch of headshot drawings, and I also drew a small froggy with a party hat. I think he looks really cute. The next sketchbook spread is dedicated to my one and only pet bunny. Her name is Choco, which is a short nickname for chocolate. This is her. So of course I had to draw her in my art style. We are really close to the end for this video. And Anyways, I really like how this spread turned out. I was experimenting with different hairstyles, and the drawing in the middle is actually from Pinterest. And I also really like the way the profile view turned out on the bottom left page. So the next spread is my most favorite out of the entire sketchbook, and that's not only because it features Stranger Things fan art, but mostly because I just really love the way the drawings turned out. I love the composition, the colors, and just generally everything. I've drawn Will from season 2, Elle from season 1, Classic Lights from season 1, Vecna's Clock from season 4, the arcade sign, 11 from season 2, and those two drawings, my absolute favorite drawings. I really love the way they turned out. I didn't really expect them to turn out as realistic as that. I only used alcohol markers and colored pencils to make them. They're both scenes from different seasons, so the drawing on the top is a scene from season 3. And the drawing on the bottom is a scene from season 4. Again, some of my favorite scenes in the entire series. And this is where we're going to stop with part 1 of this sketchbook tour. I really hope you liked the pages that you saw so far, and that you enjoyed this long and very chatty video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for part 2. Have an amazing day. Bye!